We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
Oh yeah, dude. There's some Nephilim.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern-day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, and wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. But then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government releasing poison in the
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nephilim Death Squad. I am David Lee Corbo, aka the Raven. That is TopLobsta, the father of disinformation. How do we do this when we're IRL? Do we get straight to the guest?
We ignore the person.
We pretend they're not in the room,
and we do our plugs.
Guys, sometime around the 30-minute mark, we're going to go live exclusively to patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. Sign up there, continue enjoying this episode, engaging in the live chat. Enjoying an ad-free viewing and listening experience, as well as early access to Bohemian Grove tickets when they drop, and we're looking to February or March for those tickets to drop. It's very exciting. I hope you guys are excited.
We'll be there. Our guest will be there. He was there this last one. He was there for the very first one.
That is true. Yeah, he was there for the very first one. Also, there's discount codes off of merchandise from TopLobsta.com that await you over there. What do we got? What do you want to pick up? We don't have that one on there today. I don't know. How about the Springfield Animal Control? They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. That was a banger that went away, and we don't have fun like that anymore. Now everything's
super serious. Everything is like,
everything's scary now.
Assassinations.
I like when they were just accusing them of eating the dogs and eating the cats. Joining us today is Dr. Yared. For the audience who may not be familiar with you, what is it that you do, and where can they find what you do?
Well, I am an internal medicine physician, and I am a ringside physician, meaning that I take care of all chronic disease, chronic illness. And I also I'm the doctor when you have UFC fights in town here in Florida, bare knuckle fighting, any type of fisticuff action or aggression happening that is sanctioned. I'm right there next cage side to take care of the fighters.
Very cool. We were talking before the show, and you were saying kind of all these different places that you lived in. We were saying that the Northeast really sucks, or just the North really sucks when it comes to that temperature fluctuation and what it does to your immune system. What made you pick Florida? Because I know what made us pick Florida, and I wonder if it's a similar thought process. Why here?
In Florida, when I started my medical career, I started in Puerto Rico. I wanted to be a doctor. I did a couple of years in Mexico, in med school in Mexico. But that wasn't going to fly if I wanted to practice in the United States. So I finished up in Puerto Rico in PHSU, Ponce School of Medicine, and I did my residency there in Puerto Rico in a U.S. program that's in Puerto Rico. So it allowed me to practice here. And the first thing that I did when I graduated from the specialty was pick the first offer. I was raised in the public housing project in Puerto Rico, so super dirt poor. So, when I put my name out there on a website and I
which part of Puerto Rico
did you? Ponce. So the south side of Puerto Rico.
All right. My dad's from San Juan, and my family's in Ceiba right now, but I don't know where Ponce is. It's probably
Ponce, just the very south, the biggest town in the south. If couple miles by couple miles, that's big for us.
Yeah.
So when I put my name on a website for hiring, they said, we're going to give you a 50,000 bonus. I said, say less. Where is it?
Good.
Iowa, I'm there.
Where's Iowa?
That was the first
on my way.
Was Iowa?
Dude, yeah.
Oh,
I went just like, you remember that Jim Carrey movie where he had to say yes to everything?
Yeah.
I was in that point in my life. I'm like, I'm dirt poor. I want to make some money. And they kind of, waved a couple checks in front of my face. And I'm like,
that'll do it.
I'm there.
That's not like a flyover state, though, right? Like it's like just endless
Bible Belt.
That's it. Endless fields of corn.
That's where Josh Smith is from.
Oh, really?
It's freezing out there.
Yeah, I couldn't be me. How long did you hang out in Iowa before you were like, what am I doing?
4.5 years.
Wow.
Where the biggest Monsanto facility is, by the way.
Yeah.
I live like 25 minutes from that.
Close enough that you could taste it on the produce, right? Yeah.
It's like, this is the colors are very, very,
I wonder,
vivid.
do they poison?
Vivid.
Do you where you eat? I guess.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
They probably do, right? They
I
don't
think
care.
the further out you are, the less potent it is. The closer you are, the stronger it
Yeah.
gets. Yeah. So you can taste it. You die a little bit each time you eat a stalk of corn there.
The people die so much. Right?
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. There's like nothing to do in Iowa though.
Nothing. I mean, by happenstance, and for me, it was a change because Puerto Rico is just gun central and just crime central. And being from a public housing project, I want to get as far away from this as possible.
You got it.
And take my family and I got that.
You're like,
and I had
not
an
that far.
acreage, and I had an acreage and all that stuff, and it was fun. For the age I was in, having 2 girls and having I'm like, this is fun to have an acreage and just let them loose out there. So it was fun, but like you said, we were talking before the pod, and you said like we get sick more often on that type of weather.
Yeah.
For some reason, the immune system just doesn't gel with being inside, because you have to be inside all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The air you're breathing on the heating system is recirculated over and over again, and it's conditioned. So every place that you go, you're soaking in everybody's bacteria and everybody's funk. So everybody gets super sick. The food is not fresh because it's winter.
Yeah.
So it just took me one visit to Florida, and I'm like,
what have I been doing?
Everything.
Yeah, my wife has like
my wife.
We spent a ton of money on the HEPA system for both of these air conditioning things. Like, because when we first moved here, she got really sick. I don't know. Have I told you the story before?
No.
So we were like just normal people. We moved here, and she reactivated her disease, or so we were told. And from there, she just ran through all the stuff, all the things. And she's a nurse working in the Western medical system. So obviously the prescription is going to be go to the doctor, get this, get that. And they wanted to put her on some pills that she would be on for the rest of her life. She recognized it immediately and said no, and started doing research. She found like guys like Dr. Charlie. I wish I would have, recommended her to you, because I'm sure you could have helped her as well. Yeah. But
just for clarification, when they diagnose you with disease, conventionally, this is a lifelong thing, right? Like conventionally speaking, they don't have a means of healing you permanently from that situation.
They offered her like heavy antibiotics, and she didn't want to do that because that would have that just ruins your stomach. It's a number of other things, but I don't think that you can get rid of it.
When you have an illness that triggers an autoimmune response, it changes your immune system. I'll give you a quick example. You mentioned for when when it was the Delta variant, which is super strong, fever for 12 days. I think I almost died.
12 days?
12 days. Dude. Fever for 12 days. It wrecked me. After I finished I could only smell, I smelled chlorine, and I smelled metallic smells. And so I talked to one of my friends who's an ENT. He's like, that's called phantosmia, phantom smells. You'll get better. 2 weeks, 3 weeks passed. Those smells went away. I'm like, excellent. Yeah. Brand new. I'm back in business. I go to a bathroom in Walmart. Worst smelling place.
First mistake.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge mistake. Yeah.
Ever. So I'm in there and I'm just chilling. My brother's in there with me. And he's like, somebody shat on the walls. I'm like, no, dude. He's like, you can't smell that. I'm like, what? He's like, it smells like. So he calls my dad over. My dad goes, oh, somebody shat on the wall. I'm like, this can't be.
You couldn't smell it?
I couldn't smell. So killed the cells of my olfactory nerve that smelled everything, dude. Like,
does that come back?
That doesn't come back.
You can't smell it to this day?
No, I can't smell bad smells.
I just right now.
My daughter.
He's like, I have no idea.
See, I have no idea. So my daughters say that that's a superpower, because if somebody ever falls on the sewer, I can jump in there and save
it won't
them,
be a problem.
And it won't be a problem.
I just got sick, like I was saying, coming back from New York, and I couldn't handle. So my taste was severely dulled, but anything that had vinegar in it was so off-putting. Like, we went to a restaurant.
We were eating like ketchup.
It was ketchup.
And you were like, I can't. Like,
ketchup, mayonnaise, I think has vinegar in it, right?
We were just eating ketchup.
Maybe it doesn't have it. We were just eating. We do that all the time, and this time I couldn't. But dude, it was like there was something else. Hot sauce. I love hot sauce. I couldn't get it near my face. It was so brutal with the vinegar smell. So yeah, something happens. I don't know what I got hit with this past time, but on that topic of like when your immune system takes a I haven't been good for so long. I had to get out of the Northeast because I was telling you before the show, after the thing, the immune system takes a I get a collapsed lung, pneumonia, and every winter that comes, I got shingles. And it was like all this terrible crap, like a cascading series of events. And now, you know, thank God I'm in Florida because I fare a lot better, but I still like once a year, I could feel it trying. Something tries to get me real bad. And right now I've been in the throes of it for like 2 weeks. And really it's just like fatigue and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's concerning because we've been on this journey to do what we're doing, and we're at this like precipice of like, and he's usually the most excited. But
I'm
we're
just
on this,
like tired.
yeah, we're on this precipice of about to do something really cool, and I'm like, David, isn't this cool? And he's just like,
Just tired.
Yeah,
sleeping. I'm
dude.
like, yo, dude, I need
I leave
to be
here.
excited.
When I leave here, I go home and go to sleep.
Dude, we're gonna set you up with some crazy IVs, with some exosomes. We're gonna do some really good
That
shit.
would be amazing because dude, I'm tired of it.
rectal IVs that he does best.
Rectal.
He's like, they
I
don't
do 'em
have to be,
personally.
but sure. I'll administer them personally.
Yeah,
If
that'd
that's
be
what you
good.
want. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but that's that. When you think about that, the like corporate health system, we'll never acknowledge this, right? If we talk about winter, right? When we're going towards winter, temperature changes. You have the daylight savings thing.
That's a
and
weird move. Yeah.
It's a super weird move. So we're always going towards an era where food is not going to be that fresh. We're going to get some stuff that's kind of been in the shelf for a little while, but nobody tells you, hey, you have to be on your P's and Q's once October starts, because that's the season where more respiratory viruses come through, where you have more challenges for your immune system. So you have to be more in tune with what you do to your body. You got to be more clean with your diet. You got to maybe do an IV a month. Address when you're going to get sick. When you're feeling that you're getting sick, pay attention to it. And don't go to urgent care, because urgent cares are the most piece of our health system. There's no doctors in urgent cares, and they're just a patch to get your money, to grab your insurance money, and they send you
Is
back.
it good for like, let's say like if you I mean like you hurt yourself, you break something, or like a dog bites you or something like that?
Yeah, because I a lot of I mean doctors, I've been looking at them like, no offense, where I'm like, what kind of purpose do these guys serve at this point? Because I like over the last 5 years, I'm like, how much have we been lied to by these guys?
Oh,
but they do serve a purpose, right? Does urgent care serve a purpose, or is it just complete trash?
It's a money grab. It's a money grab. Urgent cares are there to prevent ER visits, because ER visits are more expensive.
Okay.
Because hospitals charge more. So the same system, let's say we have Hospital Corporation of America. They're like, people are coming into the ER. The insurances don't want to pay when you have in a visit and to their hospital. They have to bill the insurance and they have to do all this paperwork. So they said, let's make a service that's less intense. We're not going to staff it with doctors. We're going to staff it with mid-levels. I know, and not shitting on mid-levels, right? We're just saying nurse practitioners, physician assistants.
Yeah.
You pay them less. So we're going to do it maybe a lighter staff. Maybe we're not going to have a CT scan. Maybe we're just going to have x-rays. And that way we capture the patients in the urgent care, and we'll bill that urgent care fee, and we won't have trouble with the insurance because it'll be apart from the hospital.
Okay.
Because if you're attached to the hospital, immediately that cost goes up. The same way that if you have an insurance, let's say you have an insurance and TopLobsta here doesn't have an insurance, you go to the hospital and you get a CT scan of your abdomen.
Yep.
And the CT scan is going to be $1,500. You haven't paid your deductible yet, so you're going to have to pay that $1,500. You're like, I have an insurance, but this is a good deal. But TopLobsta here knows Dr. Yared and hits me up. Hey, my belly hurts. I need a CT scan. I don't want to use my insurance. I don't have insurance. Is it going to ruin me? I'm like, no. I'm going to send you to this mom and pop shop CT scan place.
Yep.
It's going to cost you $240. And then you come see me, and the visit is going to be $50. We're going to take care of whatever's in there. So at the end of the day, you get a visit and a CT scan for around $300, where you went to the corporate system having an insurance. So you think you're covered. You think you're safe. But no, you get hit by that deductible, and it just you think you have the feel, I have the insurance card in my wallet, but in reality, you're just feeding the system and not getting the adequate care, because then you're going to have to go to your doctor. You already paid for that copay for the imaging study. Now you're going to have to pay the copay in the corporate office and all that stuff. If I'm doing good, it was, if they fleeced me, it was good, but I have a $6,500 deductible. This is working for my deductible. Let's say you're in your 30s. That was a big health issue. You're not going to get to that 6,500 deductible. So insurance covers everything. So once January comes around, that timer resets, 6,500 again.
That's crazy.
So every time you have a health issue, you're the one paying for it anyways. Even if you have insurance or not having insurance, people feel desperate sometimes. Oh, I don't have insurance. I'm in danger. I'm like, no. Get yourself catastrophic life insurance that will cover 80% of, get yourself a really good life insurance or catastrophic insurance. Will run you about $200 a month. So if you have a surgery, appendicitis, or you need to be hospitalized, you have a good insurance, not health insurance. You have good personal insurance to cover your costs, 80% of your costs. You're going to pay a little bit of that. Or you can negotiate with hospitals the rest, because you're not going with insurances that have a contracted rate with the hospitals.
This is what I need to talk to you about this very soon, because we would have never started what we're doing now. This I guess this entrepreneurial venture of what we're doing and how much we built it. I wouldn't have even continued with TopLobsta, because when I first moved here, I was working for Odyssey, and then I lost that job, and then I was doing other stuff where I'm making enough money to survive, but I didn't have insurance, and Christina was not working. So I started working for the county just to do insurance, and I'm like, I told my wife, which is this she pretty much works for insurance. She makes money, but it's insurance that we need for the kids. And I told her, I was like, listen, I can't build anything more meaningful if I'm going to be here working for insurance. Because before that, it was just breaking my back, paying so much money for this. And I'm like, it's unsustainable.
To the tune of almost the American public, the middle class is paying around, for a family of 4, right? It's the average family. You're not putting more people in the population. You're just replacing your wife and you with 2 kids, maybe. You're paying around maybe $1,500 through the Obamacare debacle, $1,500 a month. That's like paying a mortgage. So you're paying your mortgage and you're paying another mortgage, but that mortgage, that second health mortgage that you're paying, doesn't get you anything because you have that deductible. All that stuff was designed to fund Obamacare and fund the plans and we think we're doing good, right? The people that have less money, they're going to get care. I'm getting fleeced. The middle class is getting crunched, but I'm doing something good. But that money is going towards insurances. So insurances manage that. And, if I ask any of you too, will insurance liberate those funds freely and be really altruistic and help the poor people?
No.
Absolutely no.
We're all pretty accustomed to it being a gigantic scam. Yeah. And that's kind of what the general sentiment is. All insurance, dude.
Yeah, where I'm from, Coney Island, we had Hurricane Sandy.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's is it a storm? Is it, you got hurricane coverage, but this was a tropical storm. You're like, that kind of is.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, water wasn't cold enough.
Yeah,
we can't cover
whatever
it.
They can figure out to not. You pay this thing constantly, and they'll figure out any way they possibly can. But
it was reclassified to Superstorm Sandy because they can get around different kind of insurance.
So it's a hurricane when it hits, but then in hindsight, was that how it worked?
And these people pay their insurance their entire life, and then when they finally do need it, they're like, can't help you, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it's health insurance, car insurance, virtually all of it is doing that in some way, shape, or form. The name of the game is
shout out Patrick Bet David.
Why? What did he do?
He's he's an insurance salesman.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
He kind of gives me that vibe.
Yeah.
Which is a kind of a not great thing. Give me the vibe of an insurance. That's an insult. You give me the vibe of an insurance salesman.
You're not even selling anything, really.
No, you're not. You're just saying, hey, give me money, and I promise that when you need me, I'll figure a way out of it. That's what you're saying.
That's what it is.
That is, yeah.
That's what it is. The answer to that is very simple. You have to find a doctor that does direct primary care that will be transparent. Hey, every time you come here, this is what the visit is going to cost. In my case, in Tampa, Florida, every time you come to the clinic, it costs like $50 for a visit. That's it. You're not going to get billed for anything else. There's no compromise. There's other doctors that say, hey, I want to do a monthly subscription. That's cool too. All that stuff is going to be a lot more profitable for you because you're going to have direct relationship with the doctor. Try to call a doctor from XYZ hospital. You're going to get a machine every single time. All my patients have my cell phone. All of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
All of them have my cell phone. Do they call me sometimes at awkward times? Yes. But it's worth it because I get to resolve. Sometimes we have questions, and that's it's life.
It's a convoluted industry. So obviously within the West, healthcare itself eludes the average person. Yeah. But then navigating the apparatus of the healthcare system is a whole nother bag. So when you're talking about health and nutrition and fitness and all that is its own school of understanding. And then layer on top of that, now I need you to navigate the canals of this really convoluted system that almost seems like purposely difficult to understand. When I was going through the whole thing,
that's the word.
It was like purposefully.
Yeah.
Call this thing. Okay, no, that's not it. We're going to transfer you to here. You transfer my call to this, and we're going to transfer you to a specialist. Yeah. Now you're communicating with 3 different people. They're passing you back and forth. Sometimes there's a disconnect between them. You're just like this volleyball that the health industry smacks up in the air, and then hopefully you land in the correct place. And it's just this. Once you get hit with it, you if you have insurance or whatever, you get hit with this unbelievable bill, which I'm still struggling to figure out how, when you get like an itemized breakdown of a hospital visit, it's like the acetaminophen that gave you costs $700.
I'd love to ask about that too.
But I don't understand. Maybe you can help me understand.
It's like stadium prices,
right?
Yes.
And how is that okay?
Yes.
I don't understand that. How could you give me this thing? I can go and pay for the myself on the counter, and it's $12 for a whole bottle of. But they can give you one pill, and they can charge you. I mean, it's like sometimes you'll look at it's like $700-800 for the aspirin that they bought you.
IV bag. I buy an IV bag, and IV bag's like $11. The line is maybe $9. The catheter is maybe $4 or $5.
Okay.
A hospital will charge $600 for it.
How is that okay? How is that permissible? Is it because? Is there some sort of like subsidization going on?
This question gives me a boner. This is what people need to know.
Yeah.
In the 1940s, a little organization called PBMs, Pharmacy Benefit Managers, wasn't put in place by insurances, and our wonderful politicians that kind of lobbied that stuff and allowed it to happen. And it's an organization that negotiates prices between the insurances and the pharmaceutical companies, and they dictate what price the medications should have. Okay. There's another organization like that for hospitals, and it's the same thing. They set the prices and they negotiate, and that organization keeps part of the profits. They're allowed by law to keep part of the profits. Now,
so I was going to say, where's the model? How do you determine? But it seems like they're determined by the most profit.
It's internal and not transparent. So that's the reason healthcare before, in the 1920s to 1940s and beyond, before that, we did some shady. Okay, we might have used some leeches. We might have did some, Sigmund Freud, yayo. So it was the Wild Wild West. But from that time on, it was direct pay to doctors and pharmacies. And hospitals even. And hospitals weren't for profit. Hospitals were part of like church groups, or they were funded by a big company like Kaiser Permanente to take care of their employees. But now it's an industry. After 9/11, it became an industry. 9/11, after something happened around that date.
I forget what it was, but
something happened.
It escapes me.
And a lot of CEOs decided, when the industry falls, when what's the word I'm looking for? I became very Puerto Rican for getting worse. When the stock prices fall, and companies, they figured out what's recession proof, what's war proof, what will keep going. Hospitals.
Yeah,
there's always going to be sick people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when hospital CEOs became a really hot career, and a lot of people said, "I'm not going to go trading. That could be up and down. I could be mediocre and use doctors
Yeah.
and make a lot of money. So it makes sense.
Well, you look at
So-
the state of things now, clearly the best industry to have invested in the past decade would have been the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry
Yeah.
at large. And then it starts to become this big sort of speculation as to, here's a nefarious example. Is a treatable and curable disease, and is it instead relegated to management so that the industry can form a parasitic relationship with the victim or patient for the rest of their life?
Yeah, the answer to that question is very direct. We have to visualize how we think about, in a way, is the inability of the body to take care of steady and organized growth in an organ system. It could be the blood, it could be leukemia, it could be the prostate, it could be the testicles, it could be a number of things. But if we categorize all those things under that word, we think that the management of the disease is equal for absolutely everything. If you get in a testicular, you cut your ball off and you check a PET scan to see if there's any metastasis, I'm good. That's a very easily treatable.
Yeah.
But there are sarcomas, bone cancers, bone marrow cancers that are Foxville.
And they call them like the same thing. Like
when you categorize it under that, it becomes so difficult and so muddy to really understand. So it's the inability. Okay, our DNA keeps degrading and degrading the older we get. That's undoubtedly that happens. We're not managing that well. Our food doesn't help.
Yeah.
Stress doesn't help. The 9-to-5 lifestyle doesn't help. Being cooped up in your house, watching your phone all day doesn't help.
That's what I was told, by the way, when I was diagnosed with, they just said that the likeliest situation was stress. It was stress induced, which is a wild thing to think of, because at the time I was working my ass off trying to become head foreman of my fabrication shop. And I achieved that.
Dr. Jack, can you just move in just a little bit?
A little bit?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I want to
right there.
get you in a good shot. You go ahead.
But I achieved that, and then I got, so it's like, just a wild thing, this idea that you could work hard and stress yourself out to try to achieve something and support your family, and then it's like, oh, that stress gave you this bump on your nut, and you know, if you don't treat that, that's going to be a real issue.
We have to think about as a unbalance in the body. It's the name stuck, so we have to treat it, but we have to understand the body as a whole in order to move forward and to have different alternatives of treatment. And you're absolutely right. There's, when you have leukemia and you have multiple myeloma and these cancers that are going to change your life expectancy, and you have to be clear, and doctors are not clear. The health industry right now is corporatized. So all these big players, after Obamacare, second time I mention it, there's going to be many more. After Obamacare, they made it illegal for doctors to own hospitals, which is absolutely just the grossest thing that nobody has had reactions to.
So who owns hospitals then?
Big corporations. What do you think is the thought process of regulators, lawmakers, to make it illegal for doctors to own hospitals? Give me your thought.
I would want the hospitals to be profit-based rather than like run by somebody who would have a solution or like guiding in the correct manner, I suppose.
I got one. It's to keep there's effectively, if the doctor owns the hospital, then everything has to pass through him. So if you're let's say a company that has a pharmaceutical that you want to cut corners and you want to get this out to the public, and the doctor is going to scrutinize that and stand in the way, we don't want that. A corporation can be won over with money probably more effectively than like an individual can, because the corporation is a diffusion of responsibility amongst multiple individuals.
It has a board.
It has a board, right? And you could pay off that board. You could influence that board. It's much easier to deal with that than one moral individual who's standing in the way.
You said it perfectly. And the reasoning behind that law, which Obamacare, we're going to give care to everybody, and doctors can't own hospitals. That was
so
the little
crazy
thing under the carpet. And they said, no, it's that, if doctors own hospitals, they're going to refer their own patients, and there's a conflict of interest.
So they're worried about that level of corruption.
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
if if Benito Hospital, just fake name, Benito Hospital has Benito Clinic next to it, they're still going to refer patients to their own health system to get CT scans in their own hospital. It was just a way to get out the people that have the moral responsibility, the people that have the Hippocratic oath. To
there you go. Redbeard just said it. Shout out Redbeard in the chat. Hippocratic oath. Yeah. And let me tell you something. When you're the owner of a hospital, it falls on you. So if you're an individual doctor who has the Hippocratic oath, who's do no harm, all that responsibility falls on you. Yeah. Whereas as soon as it goes to a corporation, it loses a face, it loses accountability. Then what are you shouting at? You're shouting at a logo, and trying to hold it responsible. And it's a board of dudes whose names you don't know, whose faces you never see.
They're playing golf.
They're playing golf. Exactly. Yeah. So much better a system that has one person, because this is like what you say when you sometimes think about like, well, maybe the idea of a monarch isn't bad because at least you know who to hang. You know what I mean? At least you have one dude's face and they're accountable. You know what I mean? And you can look at them and you can hold them responsible and, drag them out into the public square and, skin them alive. No, not that, but I think that it's a better system and that it's really that diffusion of responsibility is probably the main component that's at play there when you're dealing with a corporation.
And the relationship with the doctor. You have to have a relationship with your doctor. Your doctor has to know you since you were young, follow you through your life.
Yeah.
Have
care about you.
Care. All my patients, when I sit down with them, I spend like an hour on my patients. Even though I'm charging $50, I'm like, let me sit down and let me get to know you. Let me get to know what makes you tick. Let me know.
You're spending an hour with them?
I'm spending an hour.
Dude, when I had these people would be in and out in 5 minutes.
To be honest, $50 an hour is not a bad living. I mean,
no, people... and people, all my other friends, I don't have many friends that are doctors. I have some because they're horrible hangs. Most of like, you're crazy. You're not going to make money. And I'm like, yes, I am, because I have a small office. I don't have to pay a huge overhead. I don't have to pay a gigantic electronic system to bill. And I don't have to use insurances to get my money. Let's say I have a Blue Cross Blue Shield patient or a Blue Cross patient. I have to pay 10% of that visit amount to my billing company. And Blue Cross Blue Shield will pay me $75 to $80. So that slices off. In order to have insurances, I have to have staff in the office to do, the billing and to help me with documentation. That takes another percentage. At the end of the day, I might take home $40. So by me using that and just saying, hey, I don't use insurance. By the way, Blue Cross Blue Shield started since 1920, so they've been around. Okay. And before they would beg doctors to take their insurances.
They're like parasites. You're like describing parasites.
I have to pay a credentialing. If let's say I'm a doctor, Dr. Yared, starting, I just graduated, want to open an office. And I have to pay a credentialing company. I have to pay them thousands of dollars, maybe $3,500, $4,500, just to put all my credentials in one place and say to the insurance, please accept my office. I want patients. And then I get,
how much is that? You said
maybe $3,500 to $4,500, being really modest.
Yeah,
it could be more. And I have to give them my credentials, showing my office. Hey, this is that type of doctor I am. This is what I bring to the table. Can you give me patients? But guess who has the big contracts, the big systems? So they could turn around. United Healthcare. When I did my application first at the beginning, they said, we're not accepting new doctors for the past 6 years
because they're good. They already have all these big contracts.
To all the kids that graduated med school.
Oh my God.
They can't have their own practice. So what do? They
just become part of the system.
You go into like Advantage Care doctor. Yeah.
Exactly. So if they have an idea that, like my idea, like what I do at Vasquez, oh man, I really want to form connections with my patients. Because when you spend that 1 hour with your patient at the beginning, every other appointment is not going to be 1 hour.
Right.
You're going to have a relationship. Your patient has your phone number. Hey, doctor, you prescribed this medication. It's slimy. Should I take it? No, that's a suppository. It goes in your butt. That's something real that happened, by the way. That's a real story. That's a real story.
This tastes weird, dog.
Tastes weird.
If you had if that happened and you're in a corporate system, you call Benito Health System and they're like, press 2.
Oh, the worst, dude.
And you're gonna end up eating a suppository.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Suppositories go somewhere else.
Dude, let me tell you though, I've been through the meat grinder. I've been through that system.
Sucks.
It is a nightmare, especially that automated system where it's like, go here, press this to go here, press this. Then it's like, God forbid something shouldn't sound exactly like what it is you're looking for. You're pressing a number that brings you to a place that you're not supposed to be. Don't worry, they're going to transfer you to the place where and it's just like this never ending half of the battle, maybe more than half of the battle as far as time allocation goes, is dedicated to just navigating those systems to find somebody to speak to.
It sounds what the doctor conundrum sounds like is the food conundrum. It sounds like the same thing where everybody could technically grow their own food or at least parts of their own food, but we're relying on these big systems that have these barriers of entry.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's designed this way. And this is a conspiracy show.
Well,
we're going to
facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
It sounds like a parasitic relationship.
Yeah.
These things latch themselves onto a system and then they start to siphon off funding from it and everything. And then because of that, the system is forced to increase the demand for the funding. So the funding goes way up. And then the parasite just increases what percentage of the funding that it takes.
It also like narrows the funnel.
Yeah.
And it creates the barrier. It's the same exact playbook that it's done with. The food industry is one that just pops to mind, but it's like, if there were more doctors, would this be less of an issue? Because then more doctors could technically practice the way you're doing it, and also doctors.
You would have to have more doctors with balls. And what happens is all the new kids that are coming in the system, they're bombarded. In the 70s, the wonderful 70s, we had Bush and we had doctors that cared, right? We had doctors that go through med school. It wasn't that difficult to get through med school. That it wasn't that expensive. You had to take a singular test, the MBME, to practice medicine, and you kept up. You kept up with the literature and continuing medical education. Now, entering med school, you have to take the MCAT. Costs you around $800, $900, right?
Just to take
for a
it.
college kid. Just to take the MCAT. Let's say you pass the MCAT. What's next? Okay, you got to pay the 60 or 80 grand a year plus books. It's $100 and some $1,000. Second year med school rolls around. You have to take the USMLE step 1, which is a $1,500 exam. 1,100 questions. A, B, C, D, E, which is useless.
Well, we're talking on top of your schooling.
On top of your schooling.
Yeah.
If you don't pass that,
do it again.
Yeah.
You're done.
So go through all of that. And now when you're finally done and you meet that resistance that won't allow you to get approved for the funding or whatever to open up your own practice, keep pushing. It's like these people just want to be done with it.
But this is how, it's genius because
it beats the crap out of you. So when you come out, you have two options. You can either keep fighting and become an individual practitioner with your own place and all this, or you can go, there's a lot more fight ahead of me. I'm just going to go into the system.
They wouldn't have been able to as effectively do what they did with, because the doc. I'm looking at him right now. I'm kind of suspicious still because he's like doctor, but it's like the doctors went, just in lockstep with what was told.
Yeah.
And the reason is it's because it seems like the money that they've put in, and I get it, they put in tons of their own time and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
When you have a baby elephant, you tie his leg, you put a stake on the ground, they can't pull it out. When that elephant is an adult, he's like, oh, I can't move. I might as well stay here.
Doesn't realize he can.
But he can. I was born poor. Public housing project. I don't give a I want to do what I want to do. And I didn't jive. When I was in Iowa, I was in a call. The CEOs were trying to push me to go to JBS and attend the patients. You got a lot of Hispanic patients in JBS, a lot of Mexican people. They're like, oh, great. You've lived in Mexico before. Oh, this is going to be great. And I jump in their Cadillac with them. I'm driving over there and they're talking about their Gucci socks and hookers and blow. And I'm like,
no way, really?
Dude, 100%. 100%.
They had Gucci socks?
They're like rock stars. Like
they're like rock stars. And here I am with, $80 scrubs.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they're just talking and laughing and golf. And I'm like, oh, I just wanted to just open up from the rear seat
Yeah.
and just, let's all die. Let's push this car. This is so what you notice immediately when you brush up against those people. They called me to a meeting. Hey, and I'm very boisterous with the things that I believe in, and I don't care. I've been already. What are you gonna do? I'm be poor again? I don't give a. I'm being shot at. I've been doing tons of things happen back home, so I don't fear any of that. So they called me over like, hey, you wrote something in social media that we didn't like for a company.
Do you remember what it was?
No, I was mad because they didn't hire my wife. She's a psychologist, and they told me when I was interviewing, they're like, oh no, we're gonna hire her because you two are great for the town.
Yeah.
They never hired her or never even called her.
Oh, so you were voicing your opinion on that.
I was saying that and just called me over. They wrote me over a thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'll sign it. So I just worked out my contract and just did whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make a savings, and I'm gonna do my vision of medicine. And it's been hard, but patients will take care of you. And young doctors don't have that belief. If you do right by your patients, you create a relationship, and you bring out a service that's great, that's valuable. They don't care if the illness has no cure. They don't care if you don't know all of it. If you're not a super genius doctor, you just want someone to care.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what takes you. And that's that. My message is that. Get a doctor that's outside of the corporate system. Support that movement. It will change. It will change, because if not, you're going to be stuck with AI in less than 5 years.
That's coming.
Less than 5.
That's right around the corner.
Less than 5. Radiology's been taken over by AI. Pathology will soon follow.
Yeah.
And they're doing research right now. I get emails. I'll share them with you guys later. Emails right now of AI companies that want to put a mic on your exam room just to hear how you treat patients.
Whoa.
Oh, like gather data gathering.
Yeah.
Gather data.
Understand the process. Emulate it. Look, I want to talk more about that, but we're at the 42-minute mark.
Let it go.
You want to let it go? Okay, cool.
Yeah. We usually we kick the pores out at 30 minutes, but we'll let them.
We'll let them keep peeking it.
This episode will be after the episode finishes. We're gonna take it down to edit it, but it'll be back up soon. But let the people that are here live listen live. Yeah.
It's always
it's important information.
It's important information, but of course, and particularly important information because it's medical information, but that is specifically what YouTube doesn't like.
Oh yeah, forget it.
That's what YouTube doesn't like is medical information. They call it misinformation, which is hilarious because they inundated us with that in 2020.
Yeah, but they're trying to fix it because they sent me a request to certify me as a physician. I had to send them my license. So under my YouTube videos, which I don't do that many anymore, it says by a certified healthcare provider.
So now you're allowed to because you're a certified healthcare provider, right?
But they're trying to correct after.
I'm wondering what they're going to do.
The lawsuits and all that stuff they received, they're trying to correct.
Yeah, Owen Benjamin already got terminated again. Did you see that?
Yeah, he did it the wrong way.
Well, I feel like he's also going to try to push it as hard as he possibly can.
Well, the way that they were, not to derail, but they were telling you to appeal with your old account.
Okay.
And he created a new one. And if you created a new one, they see that as like circumvention. So that's why they banned that account.
Oh, okay. Like, you're trying to get around the...
I don't know how they're going to behave. They're trying to course correct. Honestly, they're still the king. YouTube is the king of content here.
Yeah.
But they've gone so far. Like they've done too much for me to trust anything they say at this point. So
it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. I rather post on, it's the same company, but I rather post a little bit on Instagram. And I'm telling you, I like podcasting, but I really love the personal connection that you make. When I have a patient in front of me, they're getting all this information in a nutshell, and it opens up their mind. I can't believe, I had an older patient ask me for a little Viagra. He wanted to lay the law down in his anniversary,
get erect,
and, get that power. So I give him the prescription. I tell him, don't pull out your insurance. He forgot. He was old. He calls me, hey, doctor, they're trying to charge me $560.
Damn, I'm like, for boners?
For using his insurance?
for the medication with insurance. I'm gonna just grab your prescription back from them, take it to another pharmacy. But when you take it to the counter, just say, this is going to be cash pay. Guess how much it was for cash pay?
Less than 100.
$29.
Dude, what?
How-
This guy's
how
getting
does that-
boners for $30.
How does it work though? How do they even justify that?
Pharmacy benefit managers. Pharmacy benefit managers. Remember we mentioned pharmacy benefit managers?
I used to work in a pharmacy, and I've seen something like that. I got no idea how it works. They do something like magic behind the computer.
This company, the PBMs, they're called PBMs, this pharmacy benefit managers, they negotiate how many drugs, which drugs are going to be in the formulary, and the pharmacy is going to pre-buy and have in the pharmacy, and how much the insurances are going to pay for it. For the moment that you present your insurance card, there's already a price set for that medication for you as an insurance holder. If I go in willy-nilly cash pay and I'm like, hey, or have a coupon or something, he's like, hey, I want to get the medication, it's going to be way less. And the fundamental medication that you need to live every day, antibiotics, blood pressure medication, regular schmegular diabetes, not Ozempic.
That's an important one.
David.
That's the most important one.
Not Ozempic, not Mary-Kate and Ashley Venom.
Venom, unbelievable! How dare you besmirch Ozempic
No,
on
it's
this show?
it's in some instances it's good, but the regular stuff is less than $10.
Yeah, I when I go to the thing, you know, we didn't have insurance, so I'll tell them it's cash, and then I'm always kind of taken aback by how not really expensive it is. Like I might pay like $30-$40 for something or whatever, but that's it. I'll pay that and I'll go, okay, cool. That was relatively painless. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I've seen it the other way around too. When I did have insurance and I'm looking at the cost of things, I'm going, what in the hell's going on here? You know, you were talking about that AI aspect taking over. I think that's very real. I think your time frame of 5 years is probably also conservative, right? That's being generous.
That's not considering the just the exponential increase.
Because at any moment you can have this big breakthrough, boom. Because that's kind of how it develops. It'll jump, but after
for the microphone that they want to put in your office, there's obviously some sort of cash benefit that they're going to be giving you, right?
Yeah, they offering you something cool for
like
that.
$75 an hour, something like that.
Just to have this thing
bullshit.
sit there.
Yeah.
Well, after COVID,
there's a ton of startups like that right now. Not one, not 10.
We have
hundreds.
one up in
we have 17 here. How do you think we afforded the studio?
Podcast? Yeah, pretty soon this is
that
all
was
gonna
what I
be-
signed earlier.
Yeah, that's exactly
Oh,
what you said. I
shit.
told you, read it. After the popularity of virtual doctor's appointments went through the roof, I obviously it was what was needed at the time or what was required at the time. But then since then, that model hasn't really gone away. So anytime I'm feeling under the weather, I always keep in my mind, I could just go and tell somebody on FaceTime my symptoms and they could, you know, offer me some antibiotics or whatever. But if that is how impersonal it's gotten, that right there, and we've been seeing these videos, by the way, that have been going viral on Twitter recently of people. It'll be like a Somalian migrant, but what you see is a beautiful blonde woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like it's tracking. It's tethered to him perfectly. Its mouth is tethered to his mouth perfectly. Facial expressions and everything. It looks like a real person. So we're already there. You take that technology, you adapt it, AI model. You're calling in, you're FaceTiming a fake AI doctor that's just going to, I mean, at what point do you chunk enough data where you've got how many people are accepting that $75 an hour to put that in there, do that across thousands of doctors' offices, and you've pretty much got the run of the mill, what people come in, the symptoms they describe, and then what they're prescribed. Now have an AI doctor do that.
Let me just say this, Nancy, if you see any interesting comment, because we're deep in conversation, if you see interesting comments, just put a little star on them, and then maybe later on in the show we can circle
because
back.
this is something I can see it's resonating with a lot of people. Everybody has, unfortunately, horror experience.
Everybody here is sick. That's why they're watching this.
Yes, exactly it. But I agree. We're in short order going to see the proliferation of AI doctors, and they're going to be prescribing crap.
There is a active movement of the death of specialty and the death of intricate knowledge. So it's being substituted with algorithms and AI.
Generalization.
25 years ago, you had to be a doctor, do your residency, your subspecialty, to do whatever you needed to do, and to have your license to just prescribe the Zithromax, a Z-Pack, or just prescribe, lisinopril for hypertension. Now after all that effort that you do, now a physician assistant can have 2 years in college, 2 years in a virtual college, and maybe 1 year of an internship, and he's prescribing the same lisinopril I'm doing. So he's like, wait a minute, did my $500,000 investment wasn't worth anything? I could have taken this route now. So most kids now, they have I want to be a doctor, I want to do, and the first thing that the healthcare conscription system does is like, hey, look, you don't have to spend that much time. It's only 4 years.
Yeah.
Being a doctor is not that benefit. Doctors are, and this is word for word what a student told me that his counselor told him. Like, doctors don't care. Doctors are impersonal. Be a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner. It'll be shorter, and you'll be doing the same thing.
That's
like,
crazy.
God damn, it's not the same thing, bro. It's not the same thing. I love those healthcare, those cogs of the healthcare machine too. They're nurses, respiratory therapists. Shout out to them. They're tentacles of the doctor. The doctor's the main figure because you're the one that has the social power. You're the one that has the capacity to make the patient feel safe. And you have to have the balls, you have to have the cojones to just sit there and say what you got to say. And when somebody you have to sit and take it. When somebody dies in the ICU, you have to sit down and say, hey, this is what happened, and blah, 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 and take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Those systems are not going to have that. So it's increasingly becoming colder, more distant, less contact with people. So at this time, and somebody, I read on the side, somebody was mentioning in the chat, how do we find these doctors? It's easy.
Oh, really?
You go to Google, you go direct primary care doctors or concierge. Concierge is a little bit more expensive. Concierge, you pay a subscription and you get some tests included with that. They might have medication in the office, but it's going to be a lot better than insurance. Direct primary care, sometimes it's just a small fee a month, or like me, I do visit by visit. I don't have any compromise with long-term compromise with patients. And I do some other stuff in the clinic, IV, stem cells, other stuff that I do in the clinic. I also have psychologists in the clinic. So we have to search that out. Have a relationship with your doctor. Find the right one. If you want one with one and it sucked, go find one that really kind of gels with you and you have a relationship with him, and he could treat you across all your different challenges, because you'll have different challenges along your lifetime. But you have to have a sole place where you feel comfortable, where you feel kind of that you could share whatever's happening to you, and you're going to get direct care from a doctor. Health systems won't do that ever. They'll only get more distant, more expensive, and less effective. That's
AI is going to be, I mean,
yeah.
If people talk with AI now, and you kind of notice how it gives you what you want to hear a lot of the time, that's like a really dangerous thing. And when you said like, it's a responsibility of the doctor to go up to the family and say, this is what happened, this is why your loved one's dead. Imagine getting that just like it's writing, like, boop, 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 like over text, or like an Alexa voice telling you that like, your husband's
it'll be in
dead.
a voice,
like,
Well, what you mentioned there though
dude.
is really important. This idea of like, it tells you what you want to hear. And psychologically speaking, there are those people out there who are in love with being sick. This idea of like a hypochondriac or you've been traumatized.
That's a huge weight on the healthcare system as well.
It
like
is.
People that are just constantly going to the doctor, getting different medications.
I lack the vocabulary to articulate it, but like I know there's a psychological phenomenon. Some people love it. They love to have something wrong with them. They love the sympathy and empathy that comes from having something wrong with them. They believe that every single thing that feels weird has to be because there's a bigger problem at hand.
Hypochondriac.
It's a hypochondriac, but it's like there's a real love for being in that state. And what happens when that person goes to this AI thing and goes, "This is what I'm feeling." As a human doctor,
the AI thing is for them. It's
they can have it.
Because it's such a waste of resources when you have like a doctor that's got to see a bunch of people, and it's just like the same old lady.
Oh, my thing.
Yeah, it's like, we know. Like,
it's like, bitch, you're 80.
Yeah, dude.
You got a thing. It's
we're
fine.
all falling apart.
I don't know.
As an internist, those are the patients that I see, that the older patients. I see adults from 25 and up, but those patients you deal with you manage them.
Yeah.
If you have a doctor you could go to, those patients do not come as often to the clinic. But not having someone to answer their questions.
Yeah, they feel well. I'll give them that, right? You feel like no, this is not, because you get dismissed a lot, and that's something that is, really hard. Like I know that I've been when I had that collapsed lung, I had been to the doctor I don't know how many times, and it was far and few. Like it took a lot of visits for them to be like, you got to go and get a scan. There's something wrong, and I forgot how they determined it. But initially, it was just like, oh, you had like maybe the flu or something. Here's some antibiotics, and it just wasn't getting better. And every time I went boxing or something, I would go, I'd break out into fevers afterwards, and I'd be bedridden for the next few days. Then I'd recover, then I'd go back, and it would be like this cycle. And every time I went to the doctor, the first like 4 visits, they just dismissed me. After like the 5th one or something, and they'd sent me to go get some sort of scans. They were like, oh no, you've been walking around with a collapsed lung, and you have pneumonia. And I was like, that's not what I was told, so there is, it's a hard thing. It's like, where's the line between telling a doctor there's really something wrong with me and also believing that something's wrong with you when there's not?
There's also there's a drastic difference. I'm sort of like my wife and your wife, they're always like, oh, this and that, and like worry. Me, I could be like dying. I'm be like, listen, bitch, don't worry about it. We're gonna figure it. And then I'm okay the next couple of days.
I don't even like telling my wife when I'm sick, because then she gets worried, and then it makes it. I'm just like,
and then I feel more sick because she's worried.
Nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine. I'm fine.
And then after a while you are fine. But like there will be the time where it's like, all right, then now I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're getting to the age.
Yeah.
David.
Well,
we're getting old.
Okay. That's fine. I'll allow it. I want to ask you something. There's a whole field of medical study that has erupted after. And that field of medical study is something that I didn't hear about at all. And then I became pretty partial to. Didn't hear about it before. And afterwards, I was like, maybe this is something that we should be looking at. Seems like other countries look at it. This idea of parasites and how parasites can affect the average person. Is this something that you focus on? Do you think that it's a pursuit that the medical industry should be taking more seriously? Because it does seem like other countries do care about parasites.
Yeah, I'm very pro patient. So when a patient has a concern, let's say you're my patient, you walk in and you want to talk about parasites, I will cater to that. I'll say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a fecal smear. We're going to check for parasites. I'm going to mess the day of a pathologist in a lab and say, hey, please check this poo for eggs and for live parasites. If a patient has a concern, you have to address it. The same thing with immunizations. I was on the tinfoil with Sam, and I think at one point, immunizations came up, and I'm like, look, I'm for what the patient wants. We should never impose on a patient, hey, you have to do this. Point blank, you inform this is what the state wants you to do. This is what you could do, and this is my opinion as a doctor, and we could do any of these. Some patients come in. I don't deal with babies. Some patients have a confidence in me, and they know me for a while, and they're asking me their opinions. Like, what do you think? Should I skip this? Should I have a slower schedule of kind of space them out a little bit? Yeah, yes. If that's what you want to do, if you have the data to support it and you have a discussion with your doctor, absolutely. We should never be, I work with a company that's called Avita for research, for pharmaceutical research. If you have a pill for toe pain, you have to research that for so many years and spend so many millions of dollars. At the end of the day, if 2 patients die, the FDA is like, sorry, we're not giving you the permission. We need 3 more years of research.
This is what my wife does right now. She's a clinical research coordinator, but she's the lead of it. So yeah, it's crazy. Like the amount of stringent study and disqualifiers that there are for any.
It's kind of weird because it feels like that wasn't the case. Well, I guess Operation Warp Speed, you might be able to thank.
Yeah.
So that was another thing.
Any time that the government, look, the people before here, Roosevelt and Franklin, they empowered the insurance, the industrial insurance system, PBMs, Medicaid and Medicare. And people talk about, oh, we want Medicare for all. So you want the government to be daddy and take care of your health because they do such a great job with absolutely everything else that you want them to control health. It's insanity. do you want to have less, lifetime, less, how long your lifespan is? Healthcare should be, you should have the capacity to be independent. And we already have Medicare for all. We have the VA, we have Medicaid, and we have Medicare. Medicare takes care of 60 patients 65 and older, some special needs kids, and some people that can't work. They could be on Medicare. Medicaid is funded by federal tax dollars and federal and state tax dollars, and the VA is funded, of course, by the military complex. So we have a big amount of the population that's already on state-sponsored healthcare. How percentage-wise, how big do you think if we put the VA, Medicare, and Medicaid together? How many of us is that?
I would say it's probably like 60 to 70%.
30.
You're closer.
Really?
It's 47% of everybody. So almost half of all of us are in state-sponsored insurance. Is their health good? The answer is no. The answer is no. The answer is no.
Right.
It's not good. It's not good. The other half is paying middle class, right? Which is the rest of the people. Middle class is getting crunched, and our deductibles are higher because it helps fund the other. So we're making our life harder to bring mediocre care because it's not the government. It's not the government is not administering that. They say healthcare insurance 1, B, and C. Take these funds, help our thing. And insurance is like, I'm gonna help them. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them Tylenol.
Yep.
We'll be right back. We have a helicopter to buy. So we're not doing anything. The thing is, we have to take responsibility of our own health. We have to find the means, and we have to find a doctor that would help us achieve that, or a small group that will help us achieve that. The government is not your friend in any facet. So take care of your health. As a physician, I care about my community, where I live, the patients I tend to, and I focus on that. Sometimes I post, I get pissed off, I go rage, and then I delete it. Sometimes I post it, and I keep it online for a day or two. But it's not going to make a difference. So the difference is getting the message across. How many people have asked in the chat, where do I find these type of doctors? But you can't find that.
They're asking how much the blacks are paying. Don't just ignore this guy.
Unbelievable, terrible people.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Well, while
I don't take offense because I'm half black and my nose is pretty wide.
Yeah.
I have some other attributes as well for the chat.
A bad credit score.
Yeah.
So while you think of that, there's something that I wanted to ask. Right now, we find ourselves in the middle of like medical information that's once again being
I
politicized.
remembered. Yes, this is where I was going to.
Okay.
See, we're working like
This
a hive mind.
thing where
we share the same
demons. We share the same demons.
same parasites.
Like a bro mind.
So it's being politicized, and it's this idea that acetaminophen has a direct correlation to.
I don't know if it's acetaminophen. I think it might just be Tylenol specifically.
No, it's acetaminophen. So there's PubMed studies. I actually have a couple of them on my phone here. I can just read some of these titles just to give you an idea. But this is not necessarily something that is new. It's just that this administration is making the claims, and so just by virtue of that has become politically polarizing. So we have here, let me see.
Yeah, do you put any stock in that?
Well, here, let's read a few of these before we get into that. PubMed, the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy and the risk of spectrum disorder in the offspring. This is 2016. This is a study from PubMed. There's another one from a .gov, ncbi.nim.nih.gov. The role of oxidative stress, inflammation, and acetaminophen exposure from birth to early childhood in the induction of another one. So they're doing a constant correlation. Well, another one, 2017.
Tylenol also, like there's a tweet that said, hey, if you're pregnant, maybe don't take this.
That was 2017. They said that.
Yeah.
And here's another one: prenatal exposure to acetaminophen and risk of ADHD. So they're drawing this correlation, or at least they're finding it reasonable to conduct studies to try to see if there's a correlation there. And this is going as far back as I've got 2016, 2017.
But here's the alarming part. Like, it's coming from an administration, a government administration.
Yeah. Immediately invalidates. Immediately. Because it's, hey, look at this over here. Look at this. Look at this. Tylenol.
Yeah.
Tylenol.
Yeah.
We don't take care. We have our pregnant women in the workplace.
Oh yeah.
We don't do anything
Literally up
different.
until the delivery date.
we don't do anything different with their diet. We don't have a social system in place that the community, you're pregnant, Nancy, just stay the in your house.
Yep.
And you're going to do this for the next 9 months. You're bringing another life in here. Do that. Instead, you have that distractor like, hey, Tylenol, that, and my worst RFK.
That was pretty good, actually. I knew exactly who that was. I thought that was good.
There's no control factor is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's multifactorial. The word is multifactorial. It's multifactorial. You can say, but we're putting so much bad shit in our kids.
Oh my God.
Including everything from cell phone and everything. And I had, my daughter was diagnosed with moderate to severe. She was 3. And it changed my world though. So I'm like, I need to understand this. To this day, I don't understand the reason for what did I do with my daughter. I spent thousands of dollars learning, because you can't connect with your body.
Yeah,
you can't connect with your body. She had a massive disconnection with her body.
Yeah, it's a disassociative state.
And today, day for day, I took her to equine therapy. I took her to all types of therapy. You know the one that worked? Ballet. She connected with her body through dance, which
that's interesting.
Sounds kind of cheesy.
No, I mean,
she's been dancing since
she was disciplined.
She's 15 now, so she's been 12 years dancing ballet. It allowed her to come out of her shell. She's a normal person, great grades, super responsible, super mature, a fantastic young lady. But I spent the time. I'm like, I'm not going to work as much. Let's do all this stuff and let's put all our resources.
Yeah.
Imagine the person that can't have that money.
Yeah.
Then you have a kid that's going to be dysfunctional, and we don't understand the disease process. We don't have a task force on how to do that, but we have task force putting information out on Tylenol. I say, hey, here's your distractor.
Well, this is what's interesting to me is like, all right, so we have Johns Hopkins University. This is 2019, taking Tylenol during pregnancy associated with elevated risk of ADHD. So the point is, this has been going on for a while. Mm-hmm. Is it necessarily a negative thing when an administration, and I there's a lot of things. I'm a conspiracy theorist by nature, so don't get me wrong. I'm not championing this administration. Highly skeptical of everything that they do. But
100%.
Is it really that damnable when eventually a louder mouthpiece comes along and says what's already been speculated on a very high level in these reputable medical journals for the better part of what would be about a decade now? It's 2025. So the earliest one that I saw is 2026. Who knows how long those studies have been going on? The better part of a decade, this is being said. And now this administration comes along, they say it even louder. And I'm going, what I don't understand is when you see, and I don't know if you've seen this, women in response to this, is whether it's left-leaning, Democratic, you were just talking the opposite side of the political spectrum, are now taking Tylenol in videos while pregnant to stick their nose up at this administration, whereas there was never that sentiment to stick their nose up at a PubMed study or a Johns Hopkins University study or anything of that nature. Now they see fit to do it. And I'm just wondering, to me, that seems ridiculous.
There's a reason behind it.
Well, obviously there's a reason behind it. It's an unnecessary risk to your child. It seems like at the very least it merits a, hey, let's pump the brakes and let's look at this kind of a situation.
Yeah. What I see as a researcher, as a physician, I see, okay, Tylenol's been around for more than 50 years. It's been around forever. And the rate of has only increased at a certain point, of course, because we got better at diagnosing it. But it's been around forever. So it instantly puts a grain of doubt in my mind. It's like, we would have seen that hike a lot earlier, because by the ACOG, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Tylenol has always been the drug for pain management in pregnancy. Advil, not that much, but Tylenol is the one that's safe. And we would have seen a hike in cases. Maybe, we didn't have the means to diagnose it. We just have that. We just said, in the 70s and 60s, like, that kid's weird, bro. Just keep him inside.
Just give him catcher in the rye.
Honestly, some of my uncles, like when I look at them now, I was like, oh, you have you like trains way too much. But you were never diagnosed with it because
now
it just wasn't a thing.
To the point where like everybody is on the spectrum one way or another. But what you were saying before about this, cognitive function and let's say like entertainment in particular, what
Mhm.
role that plays in it. If there is, and this is something that I know is really, you know, important to you, is this idea that the frame, the scene change on a show, let's say for example a children's show, has to change at maximum every like 8 seconds.
6 to
So
8
in order to keep the attention of a child, you need to continually change the scene and flash images and get them, otherwise their attention will.
I have our show set to change about every 5 to 8
And that's
seconds.
literally the only way that we can keep their attention is
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is actually the success of our show is due to this little robot here that changes there you go. If you in those really early years are being trained to focus on an image that changes every 8 seconds and it continues on into adulthood where you have TikTok and the idea is like 30 seconds to a minute and then it goes on to the next reel or the next image or whatever, what is that doing to our ability? So let's put aside and just look at attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. We are in almost all stimuli being catered to have the attention span of a child.
Yeah.
Even as an adult. So at what point do you stop and you go, is it a chicken or the egg? Did our psychology change to the degree that they're like, okay, we need to change this really fast for people to pay attention to it? Or is our psychology changing as a response to all of our stimuli being very, very short form?
Yeah. The effects of scrolling entertainment, in 10 years, we're going to have data that's going to be so damning. But in 10 years, we might have AGI, so it might not even matter. So, but the results are going to be awful. I mean, it's for parents, all the parents that come to my office and sit down, hey, my kid's doing this, and that.
Meanwhile, the kid's on a tablet.
100%. Just take the tablet away.
Yeah.
Spend money.
Give him a rock.
Spend money. I was like, what is your kid doing after school? Oh, he's at home and everything. No. Spend money. Grab your kid, put him in sport, art class, classical music, piano. Give them a skill. Give them you have a brain that's developing.
Yeah.
You could either be responsible, spend that money, and say, hey, it's gonna suck. I'm still gonna have to pick you up from school, and then in the afternoon when I'm off a job, take you to piano class and spend this much money. It's gonna be worth it, because if not, you're gonna put a individual to the world. So you have to spend that money. It's your responsibility, because you're gonna deal with the consequences when you're old, when they do stuff, when they do stuff.
By the way, I think there's a direct correlation between not only that ADHD aspect when it comes to the stimuli, but also the obesity epidemic. Because I notice in my own son, if I allow him to kind of, like, let's say we have like a lazy day, we're not doing anything that day. He's bouncing back and forth between playing a game or watching something. I'll notice that he will continually get up and go to the fridge and get something, and then go back and then go to the fridge and get something. And what's happening here is the stimuli is so low in satisfaction that these things are now competing, whether it's like watching something on TV, playing the game, or eating something. These are all low-level stimuli, and one is barely better than the other one at any given time. And so he's not satisfied, and he's bouncing back and forth until I got to be like, yo, get that bike, because we got him a bike. And I'm like, go outside, go to your friend. You got a friend that lives around the corner, go to your friend. Go get him. Go outside and play.
Dude,
I actually had to put him out the other day.
The truth is that, like, you don't even have to spend that much money. Like, if you right outside my house, there is just a hole. Just a hole.
Kids love digging
holes. They
holes.
just dig in a hole. They were there for 6 hours yesterday digging a
Hell
hole.
yeah.
It's not gonna.
I'd like to dig a hole.
It's not gonna fill the need, like that part of them that's gonna be like, the problem solving, the creativity part. But we figured out, like, for my son, he was also sort of like on the spectrum as well. We did some heavy metal detox with him. We did supplemental stuff. And man, he's a normal kid now, but what he does gravitate towards is puzzles, things like that. Like he's very analytical in that way. So we put him in jujitsu because it's a physical puzzle, and he's been crushing it. But right at the kitchen, you were telling me about about the prevalence of MRSA in jujitsu, and now I'm having like some second thoughts.
No, it's being cognizant of that challenge and saying, hey, okay, you got to take a shower, but I know it's cool to hang in your gi and have everybody see you, or in your board shorts and be like, I'm a badass.
Yeah.
But you gotta, change right away. There's, the pads, the soap pads that you could scrub. So you got to teach them how to deal with that's a skill that you have to teach your kid. Hey, when you're sick, and this is something I tell my daughter, say, hey, when you have a respiratory infection, when you have a cough and a cold, you gotta take care of it.
Yeah.
When you're talking about sex with your kids and you're giving them the talk, it's like, hey, buddy, there's responsibilities. You can get this, that. This is what happens to people that do this, and that. So you have to have a direct relationship with your kids and say that you can't defer everything to AI and to phones. You gotta be a present parent, and just the majority of people, it's so hard for us on day-to-day grind. Then we gravitate towards. I don't blame parents. Like it's easy to have your kid on an iPad seeing videos in there, and then you take a little breather. You're able to kind of decompress, but that piece that you have when you're decompressing, not paying attention to your kids, it's gonna go away when they do something, or where they get sick, or when they're not successful in their life. And I just sound like an old dude, and I am an old guy, but that's what you need to be more present in with your health. Your health, when your kids' health, you got to take responsibility for it. Don't give that responsibility to the state, because the state will do you wrong 150%.
Yeah, but it's the state that's grinding you down, right? It's demanding that you get two incomes going on because the economy's so bad. So both the wife and the husband have to go out, or you're a single parent, household, or whatever the case is.
You're gonna pay. Either way.
Pick your hard, right?
So
pick your hard.
When do you want to pay?
I know which one is gonna make you feel less like on your deathbed. You know what I'm saying? Like that one is definitely the entertainment is really hard too, because the short form content makes it so that, like, if my kid wants to watch a show on, let's say, like Hulu or something, and I know the show, you know what I mean? Like, I like to make him watch, and he's not, well, he can be a fan of it, but there's a lot of times where he's not, old shows that I used to watch, because I already know them. I've already vetted them. I already know what they're about. So, like, we'll go back and watch stuff from the early 2000s or the 1990s or whatever. So he's been watching like the old school Spider-Man,
He-Man,
stuff that I already know, right? Because the problem is with the short form content, even if it's a new show and I watch some of it with him and I go, okay, this seems reasonable. From episode to episode, that changes. They could bring in something, inject some sort of a concept. Like I saw one, for example, the other day. I'm scrolling through Twitter and I know I've seen this show on Netflix, but he's not watched it. But there's like a whole trans character. It's marketed for 7 and up, right? And it's a trans character talking about how they're just living their truth and doing all this and things. So now that isn't like the theme of the show, but you can get that one episode. So even that's hard. Try doing it when it's short form content. You're going to sit over their shoulder and watch a 60-second clip, a 60-second clip, a 60-second clip. You step away for a half an hour, then they've been subjected to 30 different pieces of media that you've not vetted. You have no idea what they just saw in the cycle, right? Yeah. So whether it's like YouTube Reels or some crap like that, YouTube Shorts, they are subjected to, it's like, it literally is MK Ultra, right? Where you're like in the chair and you're just getting, and they're flashing all these images in front of you. And 16 of them could have been trans. 16 of them could have just been horrible messaging in general for a young developing mind. Yeah. It is, and then couple that with just all the stresses of this thing, that thing, work, the everyday comings and goings of life, and then layer on top of that. And I'm it's not a black pill or anything, but I'm just saying layer on top of that. Now understand health and nutrition.
Yeah.
Now understand how to raise your child in a healthy way. Now understand how to navigate the healthcare system. Like, I do sympathize with people. It's kind of crazy to imagine that the average person who's working a 9 to 5 you might be able to master like one of these things or two of these things, but we're being crushed. It's like Tripoli says, right? Pressure from above, pressure from below.
Yeah.
It's like every which way.
You gotta step out.
You got to step out. You got to get some, I don't know, property, move away, get off and get away from the system. If you can, homeschool your kids, because even if you don't look at it like they're all nefarious systems that are pitted out to ruin your family, it's like just the what would you call it? The negligence of all these systems, that's going to ruin you.
Yeah. You have to be involved. If you buy your food from only restaurants and fast foods, you'll have health. Get the ingredients, you cook. Some of them might be Monsanto'd, but you're going to be a lot better than doing that. What makes you think that your kids are different? You got to be hands-on. What makes you think that your health is different, that the government's going to have your back and they're going to treat your health well? No, it's your responsibility. We got to be responsible for it. And I see these young people with these thought processes and partisan mind. It's like, get that the fuck out of your head.
Yeah.
No political party is going to have your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
There's no world where AOC puts anything out productive for society if she's not a politician. What's the skill? Nothing, right?
Yeah.
So she's
a bartender.
Smartly went very, very methodically went into politics. I'm gonna be rich here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna use these hot button topics. You and I know she really doesn't believe in all that. She just wants a nice life.
Yeah.
Cushy life, comfortable, individualistic. Right?
At the expense of.
Don't follow those people. They're looking out for their family and their life and their legacy. We got to do the same thing. We got to step out of that partisan mind and stop that stupid bullshit. And sometimes we get drawn in it. But you gotta the only place where you can affect real change in your family, in your community, in the people. You know, you gotta call your friends sometimes so they don't do stupid. You gotta call them out, and you gotta take care of the business that you gotta take care of in your small circle. If enough of us do that, we start bubbling out and merging bubbles and just creating spots where things are more bearable. It's gonna suck.
No,
but things become more bearable when you have that. You have good food, you have a good spot to live at, your kids are taken care of. So you little by little you improve. If you think big, no, I want to change the world. No, you're not gonna change the world.
Yeah,
posting a flag, of whatever flag you want to post.
It's not going to change.
People don't
anything.
get triggered. It's not.
no. 100%
don't worry about these guys.
Yeah, any flags you post is not going to change anything. Any slogan that you're going to post is not going to change anything. The only thing is the things that you do when you turn off the phone and the Twitter and all that stuff, and do the work with your close community. If you want to have a weird ass community where everybody has weird colored hair and you do weird, do that, but like on your own, and you're good.
Yeah. Let me ask you something.
Fine.
You had mentioned at the close to the top of the show about IV infusions. You said every October you said we should be doing this monthly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
When you put on IV, the food. Let's talk about food, right? The food. And by the way, RFK for saying that doctors have to learn more about nutrition. You and your weird voice. We learn about enough. What are you talking about? The government approves AI in medicine and PAs and NPs. RFK. I just wanted to get that out of my chest.
What did he say about nutrition?
That he was putting a law in place. Of course, that's how politicians improve us, so that med students would have to learn more about nutrition. And just how about people affording good food, not us learning, because we learn so much. Of course, we learn some stuff about nutrition. We're not the best, and even Joe Rogan has shat on doctors for not knowing about nutrition. Like, hey, we know about diabetic ketoacidosis and how to treat it in the ICU. You can talk about cucumbers. I don't give a like you have to be specialized in what you do. I get it. Nutrition is important, but you have to be able to eat clean. What was your question? I just
no, sure, no, that makes sense. Listen, go to a nutritionist. This is what you're saying. Is go to a doctor for doctor. Yeah. I get it. No, I was just asking about the frequency of IV infusions that we should be be doing, because when my wife was sick, we were doing IV infusions multiple times a week to get her back on her feet. But I haven't done one since. And it seems like we do supplementation, like we have a bunch of vitamins and stuff, but I don't know if that's a better route.
Yeah, the good thing about IV infusions is that you're getting directly in your vascular compartment, right? If I give you a B12, I say, hey, Top, have this B12. It has to go to your digestive tract, be absorbed, go to the liver, be absorbed by the parietal cells to make the intrinsic factor to go in and some of that goes into your bloodstream. If I put an IV catheter in you and I give you that methylated B12 with an IV bag, it goes directly to your bloodstream and you get the benefits immediately without involving your liver, without involving your gastrointestinal tract. So we're giving you resources that are immediate. So IV infusions with winter and change of the seasons comes different challenges. There's more infections because there's less daytime. People are in crowded places more. The kids are in school and they're exchanging bacteria and viruses. So people get sick more often.
Does it have anything to do with the temperature? Or is it...
temperature, less exposure to the sun, daylight savings time, all that stuff puts stressors on our life. So we are super prone and primed to get infections and to get sick. That's why we have that flu that's seasonal and the coronavirus. And
so you're not a terrain guy. I know Sam's like he's very much on board with that. Whereas like what's the terrain? Are you familiar with that theory?
No.
It's
give me the nutshell of it.
I think terrain theory is that that I think they exist within us, but they only become prevalent when our body like allows it to. This is what I'm butchering it. I'm butchering it now.
We do have a population of bacteria.
Okay.
Like we have a beta. We have streptococcus in our throat that potentially could give us strep throat.
Yeah.
But strep lives in our throat already. It's when we have our immune system goes down. Let's say you go to a night of drinking, and you're just drunk, wasted, dehydrated, and then you sleep on your back and you're snoring and your throat gets dry, it cracks up, that strep goes in there, you got a strep throat. And you think you made out with Lucy and she, oh man, that chick gave me strep. No, you had it. But you put your body in so much stress that it got sick.
Right.
So the same thing with all these viruses. It's just you're primed and prone to be ill and have these ailments, and there's multiple factors in it. It might be season, it might be how you're treating your body at that time, and you get sick. It seems that that's what terrain therapy and terrain theory might be. I'm not familiar with it, but the same thing with the genitals have candida, and the female in the vaginal canal has candida, which is a fungus. It's a normal fungus to be there. When there's a pH imbalance, let's say you have intercourse and nobody took a shower, everybody just soaked in and walked away to work next morning.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Bringing back memories, huh? So you have that, and then you get a little red rash on your glands in the tip of the penis, and you're like, oh my God, this, Vivian gave me an STD. What's going on? And no. It's just a fungal infection that was opportunistic because you weren't unkind to your body and you didn't do the right hygiene, and then you got sick. So, and then you have a good doctor to confide in, and you get treatment. So, but for the IVs is giving your body resources. You can't have all the B12. How much steak can you eat in a week if you're a regular person? How much vegetables are you going to cram in to have all the water-soluble vitamins? How much cucumber? People are just going to go easy. I'm just going to have a burger and sweet potato fries. I'm healthy. I'm ordering the sweet potato fries.
They're
good. They're good, though. So having an IV at least once a month gives your body all the water-soluble vitamins, a little bit of glutathione, an antioxidant, vitamin C, like high-dose vitamin C. I'm a firm believer, and there's a lot of studies on the inhibition of virus replication with vitamin C. So if you do that, I guarantee you that you're going to have good outcomes, that you're going to get sick less. Your body's going to feel fantastic after a good IV, and you're going to perhaps waste less money, because if you get sick, like you got sick on
still
with a pulmonary abscess.
Yeah.
How does your body work when you're giving it the right things? We have all the code. We have everything, all the information for your body to work perfectly in your body. You just have to give it the right resources, right?
Do you find that
wait, sorry.
Go ahead.
As far as like pricing goes, can the normal person afford a monthly IV dose?
Absolutely. You can find an IV clinic, right? Those IV bars. You could find a doctor that has an IV. I have IVs in the office. An IV would cost you around, the most basic would cost you around $75. A really, really expensive one would cost you around $125, $130.
And this is only once a month that you need to do this?
Once a month.
It's your insurance payment. I mean, less than that. Yeah.
Less, a fraction.
And at least it's actually going directly towards your health care.
Yeah.
instead of going to some, amorphous pile of money that you won't have access to when the time comes.
Yeah. You can have a health savings account, an HSA, and this is one of the tips that I wanted to give. You can have a HSA. An HSA takes money and puts it in your account, in a special account with a ATM, with a debit card, and it stays there. Your deductible goes away. Let's say you made that $6,500
So crazy that it
deductible
goes away.
by December. With most people get to it.
And they go, whoops, up, nope, and they just pull it away from you.
If you put those 6,500 in an HSA, it's gathering a percentage, it's interest,
Mhm.
and it rolls over to the next year. So if you want to get a surgery, if you want to get some nice tits,
Yeah.
you can put it towards that.
David's been looking into
I've actually been
That's why I
looking into
mentioned
how
it,
to
because we
reduce-
were talking about
I
it.
know. I said I'm trying to reduce my nice tits.
We should do that
Yeah.
with the Nephilim Death Squad
You
funds.
get third nipples, everybody.
We should honestly. I would love to go get monthly IV infusions, or I think that's a great idea, because I'm tired of feeling like I wonder since you're dealing.
I'll do. If we do our next podcast, I'll bring everybody will have IV 10 poles.
While we
dude,
do
we
the
could
show,
do an IV cast.
what do I do when I got to piss?
Sold it.
Colossus
I'll just
bag.
have to. Oh, Colossus bag. That's
I can bring diapers too.
awesome. I like the warm feeling. So I'm wondering, since you're dealing with fighters who are in the gym, and you say MRSA is basically a constant
Mhm.
in the gym, and I know from my own experience, when you go in there, it smells a very particular way.
Yeah.
And depending on what gym, I've been to a lot of MMA gyms, depends
Like
on
feet.
how there's not just feet, dude, but it's like also like, how are they cleaning this place? Some places are a lot more thorough than other places,
I'll
right?
give you a morbid piece of information.
Okay. Not enough. They're not cleaning it enough.
Jiu-jitsu gyms smell exactly like burn wards.
Real. Oh, that's crazy.
Not the one I bring my kids to.
That's
but-
what that smell is.
Whoa.
Yeah. When people get burned in the hospital, what's the bacteria on top of the skin? It's MRSA. So you smell.
It
like
smells
a
the
strong
same?
smell. Yeah.
So that's gross as shit. Now, what I'm wondering is,
Dude.
are you seeing how are the immune systems of fighters
Yeah.
in
pretty-
comparison to like the average person?
There's some fighters that do it well. If you fight close to your weight, you're top shelf. If you do a massive weight cut to reach to a weight to have weight advantage, your immune system is jacked. That's why we see so many fight cancellations in the UFC, because people want to be weight bullies and they want to have that weight advantage. They don't fight close to their walk around weight, and then they have bad outcomes. That's why the Diaz brothers were always, great, and had a lot of fights because they fought close to their weight. They didn't cut a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Great champions like BJ Penn back in the day. Now has Capgras syndrome and has a serious neurological disease that thinks that people are replaced with
I'm not sure he's
clones.
his mother was replaced or something like that.
We've
Or
been seeing the stories. Listen, she might have been
who knows?
replaced,
Maybe
Dr.
she was
Jared.
replaced. Yeah,
We don't know.
It could have been,
So
It's like,
why-
look at her ass. It's not my mom's ass.
my mom's
These are
ass.
Hawaiian
Didn't he say
people.
that?
They get ugly as they age.
Well, that's
No.
the thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. No, dude.
Shout out to the Hawaiians.
Shout out. You can find me in Tampa if you want to fade. There's a Puerto Rican in me. It just came out.
Well, I mean, I think that's true though. They are pretty. Look, I whatever's going on with BJ Penn is one thing, but I think that's probably pretty accurate, right? The weight cut is going to compromise your immune system. But I'm wondering, like, are you seeing the average fighter struggle with, infection or let's say respiratory issues more than the average
What I've
person,
seen
the
is
non-fighter?
I've seen like female fighters. I'll let you answer, but it seems like female fighters suffer the worst, like between the weight cuts and then whatever else is going on in their body. These guys can't seem to regulate, and they all seem to get sick.
Hormonally. I mean, when you're a professional athlete, you're a female. You're suppressing a lot of the excretion of estrogen, having less body fat, because body fat is it's estrogen active. So that's what happens when you have runners and fighters. They don't get their periods, so they kind of flip their hormones, and they get a lot of trouble from it. But most fighters are healthier than the average person because they pay a little bit more attention.
Yeah.
It's like they have the challenges, they have the MRSA, they have the traumatic, the CTE,
Sure.
all that stuff. But comparing it to it, that's why most people that are not fighters that get involved in, like, I want to go to a Muay Thai gym, I'm 52. I want to go to a Muay Thai gym and, and learn Muay Thai. You'll get healthier. You eventually, if you stay long enough, your abdomen is going to get flat. You're going to feel really great. And combat sport, that's why it's so popular, because practicing it makes you really healthy. And if you do jujitsu and you're doing the acai bowls and all that, and it's expensive as hell. Because it's like $500 a month in fees and equipment and injuries that you're gonna get, but you're gonna get a lot healthier.
I was wondering about that because I remember after the whole thing and then the pneumonia, I was kind of confused because I was like, dude, at the time, I was like in some of the best shape of my life. And these things were happening to me. And I was like, let me find out that there's a correlation between like, yeah, sure, I was in good shape physically, but I was being exposed to this thing or that thing. But I think it was likely just the that really screwed up my immune system. But that is interesting because it's a trade-off, right? I mean, when you look at it financially, and sure, you're going to have those injuries and things like that, but it's a kind of a funny catch-22 that you're going and beating the shit out of yourself, but also you're increasing your health.
I stopped for that reason, because it's like I was getting injuries to like my groin area specifically. I don't know if something about the movement, and then I had to go build tracks at night, and I'm just like, I simply can't do it.
Yeah, fighters are healthy because they're training and they're not putting their body in any other stress. And when they're doing it at the professional, like Joel Romero, like that guy is a
he's something. There's something
superhero.
Different.
He's built, different.
He's built. He's actually built different. Yeah.
Superhero.
Superhero.
But us, I have to be a doctor, and let me go to jiu-jitsu in the afternoon, and I'm not gonna be as present and taking care of my body, like I'll do these IVs and peptides, and I'm gonna have a meal prep system. I could, but it's just a lot of work, and then it works like that. So when you do combat sports and you take the extra steps to take care of your body, then things get really, you might have been pushing your body to a limit and not giving it enough resources to deal with the stressors.
Well, that's a hard thing too, because I was pretty knowledgeable about health and nutrition, and I still am, although I'm not implementing any of it. And
perfect.
And I'm also pushing really hard on the fitness front, but these are like two schools of thought. Like these are two in-depth topics that you have to learn about. And then because I have no formal schooling, it's like, oh, that's not working. Got to tweak this a little bit. That's not working. Let me tweak that. And let me pull this out and try introducing that. And so it's all like learning on the fly. It's something that, we get taught a plethora of things in school, and so many of them are useless, especially within the public school system. I think obviously more just fundamental knowledge on like health and nutrition and fitness would go a long way. But otherwise, you have basically podcasts. That was my learning mechanism for all of this, was like podcast, and then I'm at the mercy of whoever the guest is, and I'm just trying to implement this new thing and see how that feels. But it's hard, man. It's not easy, and that is being driven towards that thing. We already laid out all the things that are pitted against the average person. You don't really have time for that. So it's difficult.
Sounds like a lot of excuses to me, David.
It definitely is
bullshit.
What do you want to see from the medical industry at large? Like if you could implement some fundamental changes across the board on the medical system that we have here in the West, what would some of those things be?
What I want to see is younger physicians that get inspired and say, hey, I want to bring my personal brand of medicine within the guidelines, but my personal brand of medicine, and I'm going to take my time to build a patient base. I'm going to delay that instant gratification of having a $20,000 a month salary, but the salary is going to be bigger, but I'm going to build a community, and I'm going to be working for my community of patients. That is going to obligate the corporate systems to compete. Right now, there's no competition. There's none. There's none. If enough of us have this alternate system that patients can trust and say, hey, maybe you want a big campus hospital, and that's fine. We have our independence of thought. No. I trust, I trust the Bad Bunny Hospital. I want to go to the Bad Bunny Hospital, and the Bad Bunny Hospital is a large campus. They have great music. I see AI, but I mean, it's great. Good. Do you? But we have this other environment that you could get care for, and it's different. If enough of us do that, we become undeniable. And they have to compete and at least improve their standards a little bit, become a little bit more human and more affordable. But right now, with that law, that Obamacare law, we can't own hospitals. We can't compete with them because the government says, no. There's they want that lobby money. But, eventually it will come. I think it will come, and we will be able to create this alternate environment where people feel safe and people love it, and hospitals will have to copy it and have it as well. That I want that to happen.
I want that to happen too, man, because like I said, when I look at doctors in general, I'm immediately skeptical. And it shouldn't be that way.
The past 5 years really did
These
that to
guys,
us.
I mean, you busted your ass to do what you did and be where you're at and accrue the knowledge that you had, but there's people out there that are just following orders, people that are just lying. There's people that just want to be part of that big system, and it's at the behest of, I mean, people are suffering for it. So now I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I dismiss them as a whole, and that's not the right thing. That's like stupid on my part as well.
That's a baby with the bathwater.
I know, but like we're in a situation where I'm kind of like,
drastic times, drastic measures.
I like, what am I going to get? Like, generally from a doctor, you're going to get the prescribed response of XYZ. You're not even going to get, you're not going to get critical thinking or thinking outside of what's allowed. Of what they're told.
I have and
it's a relief talking to you, because you have opinions about things that are not just the standard conventional outside of, right out of college. This is what I'm told. This is what
the textbook said
you must do. It's like, we need more of that. And that will instill faith in the doctors, the people. It's freaking worrying, man. Like, who do you go to for advice? Who do you go to for the shit that actually matters? Like you said, they actually do know. But I'm hesitant to ask. I'm hesitant to even approach these guys because quick anecdote. I went to my childhood doctor for my son when he was messed up, and all he wanted to do was just like diagnose. And I was like, no, doc, like he's sick. Like we need help. He's having behavioral issues. And he was like, he's not up to date on his. I was just like, this is not a system I can be a part of. And it's hurting everybody, because this guy has a wealth of knowledge, and it's just like inaccessible for whatever reason. I cannot access the part that actually matters from this dude. And it's like, it's a travesty. So the competition, we need that, because that will make these doctors that are in that system actually have to doctor.
And the only way that we get that is we need people like you to actually look at that fork in the road where you go become part of the system, or take this thing that looks like a gigantic risk.
It's not just him, but it's people that are going to be watching that have to become aware of the option. They're not
that's
necessarily
huge.
aware. So they have to choose that. And then once other doctors see, oh, look at the success, like this is an option.
They have to see
it's a viable path. And then that proliferates, and then you start to multiply, extrapolate on that, and then you change.
That's what you got to do.
When I started 4 or 5 years ago with this endeavor, and it was around the time I appeared on the tinfoil hat.
That's when I first saw you, and I was like, this guy's great. I love this dude.
I started, and at first I was seeing 1 or 2 patients. I blew through my savings, but I was like, I don't care, and the cheesy burn the boats thing. But
that's it. That's it. You're either doing it or you're not doing it.
Are you all in or not?
Right.
I quickly I'm like, people are now taking care of me. I treated 1 patient great, and people were skeptical. They're like, are you really a doctor? I'm like, yeah, this is my diploma. I'm a doctor. I have 13 years of experience. I'm not, dude. They're like, but $50, that's nothing. And I'm like, I could charge you $100 if you want. Right. If it makes you feel better. But the more and more, and I started with 2-3 patients. Now 5 years later, I have a panel of 700 patients.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Patients.
Good.
That's great that 700 people found you. That means 700 people have broken away from this parasitic system.
How are you finding how are they finding you? Is it like local stuff, or
just
is it
word of mouth?
Word of mouth.
Wow.
I held back. I'm like, I'm not gonna go through the Facebook, Instagram. I'm not gonna pay some tech bro in Cali to do some cheesy reels for me. I'm gonna do my own social media. Like you see on my IG, I do my own. I even post rap videos of me. I post the randomest, nothing having to do with my personal practice. You like me as a person,
Yeah.
You know, come here, find
Mhm.
out what we got in the clinic going on.
Is that Masvidal?
That's Preacher Colon.
Oh,
Go
okay.
up, go up a second there. Look at that. There, go up, higher. There's a knee somewhere around there without an ACL. That's so gnarly.
What?
Look right there to the left.
A
This
knee
thing-
without an ACL?
Oh, take a look at it.
Oh,
yes.
Is that an injury or is that just
That's an old injury.
Just born this way, baby.
damn dog?
I'm like, you're so flexible.
Open
a OF.
So crazy.
Got that
Make a lot
ostrich
of money.
leg.
That's crazy, man. Well, I think that part of the game is going to be. I'm glad that word of mouth is what worked for you, because that's pretty much all we have. If people are shocked by the system and they want to detach from it, they're going to start looking for things, and it's only going to be, you know, kind of podcasts or who's telling your story. And not only is it great for the patient, but like Top said, it's like you need to show that your model can be successful.
Yeah.
So that these people who are, it's still going to feel like a risk until this alternative system that you're a part of gets built up enough that people will feel comfortable.
This is the same thing. My story. It's like my dad, really good job, MTA. And my dad's like, do that until you retire, till you die. They're going to continue to pay you. You have a guaranteed paycheck. They can't fire you. And I was like, I hate this. And I
It
can't.
kills your life.
Yeah, I can't do it. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to do my own thing. And it's like, well, what does that look like? Has anyone else done that? I'm like, no one else is doing it. And he's like, that's stupid. You got a family. And I was like, just trust me. Just watch what I mean. And then you just do it. You just be brave, take the step out there, which you did. And I love, maybe it's a Puerto Rican thing. Shout out Puerto Rico. That's why you suck, though.
Trash things.
It is a trash island, but it's a trash.
There's plantains.
It's a trash. It's a trash island.
I think plantains might have. So if you eat tostones and mofongo, eventually you'll become one of us.
I had mofongo once, and I was very upset. Actually, I don't remember what mofongo is, but it was very bland, and I was very upset.
Oh, it needs to be an older lady doing it.
I you know what it was? I went into it. It was a Puerto Rican restaurant, but everybody that seemed to work there was white.
Well, there's your first sign. There's your sign, dog.
Yeah.
It was the best the place had to offer. It was a mountain town, and they were trying to bring a little bit of something different to the small, sleepy town. And there was some way people bought mofongo, and it wasn't good. All right, so maybe I judged a little hasty, but
it's fine. We'll bring you to Puerto Rico. We'll figure it out.
I'm not going to Puerto Rico.
An order of mofongo, and there's Dylan. Okay,
Dylan, please. One of your finest mofongos.
Dr. Yared, can you tell the people where they can find you again? And I want to respect, unless you want to hang out for a little bit more, but I want to respect your time, and I want to keep you forever.
Now, if people, my Instagram is at Octagon Doctor. It's in screen. Octagon Doctor. You can reach out. On Facebook, I'm Dr. Yared. It's at DRYARED. Those are the main places. I mean, I have 2 YouTubes, Dr. Yared vlog and Octagon Doctor as well, but Instagram's the quickest. Be bold. If you have a health question, just send me a DM. If I can answer right there,
go follow him. If you're a fight fan, if you're just a fight fan, too, follow him too, because when there's a nasty cut in the UFC, he's all over.
That one in the middle is from Pro Box.
This one here, I haven't seen this. Here. Check this out.
Yeah, so I post all my stuff, like suturing the fighters and doing all that jazz. You know, I do bare knuckle stuff. I do PFL. I do UFCs when they're here in Tampa. So
that's awesome.
I've been doing that for 13 years. So that's my passion. I can no longer fight or do any of those things meaningful. So I take care of the people that fight. So that's
meaningful, dog.
Passion.
That's meaningful. That's especially for them. Will you come out to the next Bohemian Grove? We're looking at February, March. I think it would be really cool to have you.
I'll do the following. I'm going to do the first super hippie Bohemian Grove clinic. Last time I wanted to do like a free cannabis card table. And everybody
that was
gets
my
a free
fault.
cannabis card.
It's just everything got so crazy leading up to it with the cancellation of the venue and everything. That's what happened. We lost that theater and everything went nuts. But what do you want to set up I
want to set up a table where people go get refills. I bring my nurses and they take care of people. You need a medication refills. We're gonna go full. What's the other big festival in the sand? Burning Man. What Burning Man doesn't do?
Yeah.
We're gonna do. So we're gonna have free healthcare for the people that come to the Bohemian Grove.
That'd be awesome, man.
badass.
I think that's really
Let's
cool.
talk about if you got a minute, if you want to stop by the coffee shop, because day one will be in the coffee shop for a small VIP, but there might be something to do
I
there
think so.
too, like a
very cool.
more
I'm down.
intimate environment. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so if people want to learn more about the clinic, my DMs are always open. No pics. Please. Now
Send
I'm
him
going to
dick
get
pics.
a ton.
Yeah, he's gonna. 100%.
But any health question you have, send it over. If you're in Florida, you can be my patient even if you don't go to the clinic. We can take care of you virtually. Colds, coughs, everything, and we do it one flat price. Nobody else is doing it that way.
That's
it's just
awesome.
$50.
That's awesome, man. That's
there you go.
awesome.
You have a doctor now, David.
Yeah. Hey, will you be my doctor? Because
I got
there's something's wrong.
Will you be my doctor?
Will you be my doctor?
If they saw us here in the Nephilim Squad, it's gonna be 40 their first visit.
Oh,
Oh.
there you go. Promo code BLAP.
All right, Dr. Yared, thank you for hanging out. And guys, we're going to wrap up the stream. We'll hang out with Dr. Yared a little bit more. But until next time, don't forget to obey, submit, and comply. We'll see.
The greatest hypnotist on planet Earth is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real. You can persuade people that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see. You can't. Because they'll laugh in the face of